Hello and welcome back to the What They Said Influencer Marketing Podcast. We are back for season 2. We've got some amazing guests this season, and obviously I, Sammy, will be your delectable host across another 10 episodes. If you're a new listener, this podcast is all about the creator economy. We're going to look at the UK, we're going to look globally, we're going to look closer to home. We're going to even talk about Bristol today. Woo. Super far field. And it seems all too right that to celebrate that Pretty Green is now B Corp.
Yes.
Thank you. The canned laughter and cheers didn't work. That we would start with a B Corp episode. So without further ado, I would love to introduce you to India, who has joined us today from TrueStart.
Hi. Yes, my name's India. I'm the head of brand at TrueStart Coffee. And thanks for having me, Sammy. I'm excited.
Thanks. So TrueStart is a B Corp.
Correct.
We're a B Corp. So basically, all you need to know is that we are the best people to work with. Best friends. Good for the planet.
Yeah.
Good for the people on it. Mm-hmm. Well, I want to talk about B Corp, though, in a bit more detail, because I feel like you're probably more qualified than I.
I don't know. I feel like we've been a B Corp for a couple of years, but it's always a learning process. So
Ever evolving.
Well, I'll do my best. Yeah.
So TrueStart is a B Corp, and there's a lot involved in that process to get the certification. And it's an ongoing piece as well, isn't it? Because I know as an agency, we're constantly doing monthly reviews on scoping emissions and output and things like that. So what impact has B Corp had on the business for you?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I feel like for us, so we certified back in 2021, which was actually when I joined. So I wasn't there to do the process myself. So it was actually down to our two founders, Helena and Simon. They did the whole process themselves. So I think in terms of the impact, I've seen it kind of from its right when we were certified to today, where we play a big part of the community. I'd say in the first instance, we were still are a small growing company, but at that time they certified it was just the two of them. And it really made sure they codified and made policies on stuff that they already were kind of doing. But there wasn't a maternity policy because Hals was the female in the company and they had 2 kids. There wasn't anything like that. So that was actually written down. Obviously that would exist, but so that kind of policy creation was really important. And then I think fast forward to today, what's been really awesome about the B Corp community is the people that we've met, the opportunities that it brings. We've made so many amazing products with different brands Marshfield Farm. We made a cool ice cream with them. Hunter and Gather, we've made an amazing coffee with them. We've got another one coming out with Purition, that is a newly certified B Corp. So all of these opportunities that have come our way for co-branded products, for social collabs, email collabs, events, that has only come through because we're a B Corp. So I think that's a massive effect. But then also in terms of the actual business, it's brought so many B2B customers our way. We were talking earlier about co-working spaces. We provide coffee for a co-working space that's a fellow B Corp. They're saying also it's switching your food and drink suppliers is one of the easiest switches a company can do to hit their own sustainability targets and initiatives. So yeah, being a B Corp's definitely brought the correct business our way, and it's brought amazing collabs. And then internally, it's brought this whole new framework. So it's been 10 out of 10 all round.
Yeah, I feel like there's 2 things there, because I think just on your last point around business, I think for us as an agency, when it comes to B Corp, it really does, like you said, codified what was already there. Yeah, so we already had these stringent frameworks around the types of brands that we work with, or the kind of behaviours that would make sure would come through in creative and content and strategies. Yeah. So it really has helped us. It's kind of like a North Star in terms of who we can work with or who we'd want to work with. And there really is this really supportive B Corp community. And then to my other point, to another point that I was going to make off the back of what you said, I also think there's a lot of misconception about B Corp, because 100%. I think a lot of people just think it's being environmentally friendly, but it's so much more than that. And I think there's a job to be done in us helping people, the clients we work with, and the work that you do, like you just said, around maternity cover and things like that. It touches all different points of the business.
100%. Yeah, I think for us, there's loads of obviously working in a food and drink business, there's loads of different certification avenues we could have gone down, fair trade, soil association, organic, all these certifications are brilliant. But for us, we wanted something that was going to essentially completely rip our business apart from all angles, analyze it, and build something better that you constantly have to check. Like you said, you do use this as a framework to constantly better yourselves and better your business. So yeah, I definitely, I feel like it's an amazing certification for ongoing progress. And what you were saying about people not knowing what it is, do you know Alpro, the oat milk,
yes.
soy milk, etc. So
I'm a vegetarian, so of course I know Alpro.
You know Alpro. They're my favorite oat milk. So we've just we're partnering up with them. We're kind of their like coffee partner, and this month we're doing an activation in Co-op with like a big old FSDU, so for non-food and drink speak, that's like the cardboard towers you get, and our whole thing is like be your own barista, which is kind of like a cheesy tagline that came up in one of the meetings. So it's got like the B and then your own barista.
Nice.
But the whole
B for B Corp.
Exactly. But one of the things that we've put on the kind of shelf parts of it is like better for you, better for the planet, because I think it's not just environmentally friendly, it's like better for you. It's better that you're buying a brand that is B Corp. And Alpro are obviously part of Danone, which is like, I think it's the UK's biggest B Corp. But
I didn't know Danone was a B Corp.
Surprise. Yeah, no, okay. I think that happened. I can't remember what year they certified, but yeah, they're like pretty like trailblazing in it as for such a big company.
Yeah.
But yeah, so pretty cool.
I think B Corp's really important. I feel it's important to recognise this B Corp month.
Definitely.
What are you doing for it? Anything big?
Yeah, well, actually yesterday, so in Bristol, there was Purpose Fest. So Purpose Fest is like a conference, but in a fun way.
A fun
conference. And it was essentially like you hear from loads of talks. So it was really inspiring. It's always so inspiring. And so we did that yesterday, and our founder, Helena, like emceed the whole morning. She spoke on the panels. So that was really cool. Like I said, we've got a collab coming up with Alpro for Co-op, so that'll be great. So that's
this month as well?
That's this month. So we put it live.
So you've been busy.
We've been busy. I think it's the 17th of March that it's live.
Okay.
I hope my head
I'll
of
put in your
sales.
calendars.
Yeah, head of sales. I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but I believe that's what it is. We've also got this collab with Purition, which is a like whole food nutrition brand, and we're making a coffee and walnut flavor. So that will be coming out on like the 24th-ish of March. And then we also, I don't know if you guys have done your impact report before, but we've got our impact report. We always publish it every March as like part of the celebration. So we've got that. And then internally, we've got this thing called a Be Better Challenge. So all of us had to say things that we're going to do this month to like better ourselves and like better like the business. And so we're doing that, and then we've got garden renovation day as well. So there's a couple of like
garden renovation day.
Yeah, you know how I told you we've got this like new office space that we're kind of like doing ourselves. Part of that is we want to like nurture loads of biodiversity in the garden. So we're all about ponds at the moment. We're talking about like having like little creatures in our garden. So,
wildlife.
Yeah, wildlife.
Impact report.
Yeah.
Can you give us a little detail of what that looks like for a coffee business?
Yeah, definitely. I think our impact report, so I have done it when was the first one? 2022. And so it was literally just me. So Simon.
Oh, so you led on it?
Yeah, because there was, at that point, was it 2022? There was just the three of us. So it was like, someone's got to do it. And I love
you.
Yeah, and I love the whole, like, I find it really interesting. And obviously it's kind of, it's a piece of content, isn't it? So it kind of fell into my lap. But I worked on it with our co-founder Simon. But yeah, so that first one was kind of like our first go at it. And then now we've got a B Corp lead. So herself and me have done it over the past couple of years. But for us, it's basically a chance to, we've got a section which is kind of like a note from the founders where they reflect on the past year. And then we have kind of like our year in stats. So like how many coffees were drunk, how much carbon would have been saved, And then we have a bit all about our sourcing, because I think we do try and put loads of stuff in our blogs on our website, but it's really hard for people to immediately see like the direct impact of the coffee that they're buying. So we like to say where it's come from, any packaging upgrades we've had, what we've worked on in terms of like our impact that year, our supply chain. So we publish all of that. And then we also make this year, we've got 4 new pillars that we're going to center our business around and its impact, which I can tell you about in a sec maybe. But they're those ones that's going to be like what we frame the vision for 2025 around at the end of it. So
it's a really big piece of work then.
It's huge. Like it literally, the first one, I remember I was freaking out when I first got put my, because I thought
it sounds huge.
You have to like do so much like data collection and research, and you can't. The whole point of them is to be as transparent as you can without literally obviously giving someone your supply chain. So that was a massive piece of work. Now that we've done it twice, this third one feels like it's still huge. Like Jess and I have been working on it for the past month, but it feels easier.
Especially as the business is growing as well. So
100%.
But you start to get into the formulaic way of compiling them.
Yeah.
I think Pretty Green as a business for quite a few years has been carbon neutral. And then ever since I joined in 2022, our founder and CEO Jess founder Strings, but CEO Jess has always been, we want to go for B Corp, we want to go for B Corp.
Yeah.
Little did I know how much work was involved in that. And I think it kind of went under the radar until it came to boots on the ground, actually looking at identifying emissions and scope 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah,
and when it comes to influencer, making sure, how do we calculate, based on how long someone's watching a YouTube video, how can we offset that? And our Founder Strings also has a business called Scoot, which is all about helping businesses offset or avoid emissions as well. So it feels like it's been ever present in my mind for at least 3 years. But I still feel like I know that I feel like there's a lot to learn, or it's always evolving. Because I think 4 or 5 years ago, everyone was saying offset, but now we're avoiding. You're not supposed to be just offsetting. It feels like a get out of jail free card, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I think it must be so interesting because we don't have so much of a digital footprint. It'd be really interesting to learn about that whole side. And I can imagine that must be hard because it is hard to get information. We obviously have to work with people and our suppliers to get them to pass on that info, that data.
Is that hard
we need
to do for suppliers if they're not B Corp themselves?
So our suppliers, I guess coming back to the whole framework of B Corp, it has meant that we've got the right customers, we've got the right suppliers, so they are pretty happy to share what they can. But obviously, you are asking someone who's probably doing 1,000 other jobs for some information that
might not be readily available.
It might take them a couple of days to dig it out. But our suppliers are amazing, so they're really happy to help where they can, and they want to be as open and honest and transparent as possible. So that is okay. But yeah, it's a giant piece of work to go through. 100%.
I think. Obviously, this is the influencer marketing podcast, so
let's go.
I'm going to bring it to influencer, but I think that has been an interesting one for us because obviously it comes down to equitable pay and things like that with talent. Have you worked with influencers before?
So we've dabbled in influencers. So we've basically, for us, we've got an amazing kind of little squad of small creators and ambassadors. We've never really had the budget before to actually do the whole paid influencer thing. So I'm really grateful that we've got these creators that we work with in a product in kind basis. And kind of our whole thing about spreading massive positive energy, these guys really do spread that message. And it feels really cool that we've got these people that are really happy to do that just because they love the coffee, they love the mission. But yeah, so we've kind of worked with them in that sense, and we know that obviously UGC is huge, and so we want to do more and more, and we're actually hiring for a social role at the moment. So
that will lead on that. Yeah,
that this person, I want them to take it because our whole thing is community, and so we really want to lean into that more brand led community piece. And so yeah, it's really I think we'd love to do it, and actually instead of paying maybe a small amount for lots of little people, pay that amount but for one person to do
slightly more
quality.
Credible in the space and get to the quality content.
100%, yeah.
With the B Corp values in mind, being B Corp, how does that impact who you choose to work with or the process of working with not just influencers but talent or
so we
celebs?
So we I guess have always picked partners based on their we want it to be a long-term partnership. So whether that is an influencer, whether that is talent or anything, we want it to be long-term, and I think that also adds into the genuinity, authenticity.
That word, honestly, it makes an appearance. The A word.
The A word's coming back. So yeah, that whole authenticity piece is really important. I think there's not a framework that we'd work with. I think it sounds really wishy-washy, but it's kind of a bit of a gut feeling. I think because B Corp is so ingrained in everything that we do, you already
kind feel of you know what you're looking for.
But there's not we don't have a list of being go and find that, because then we want everything to be inclusive and so yeah, it's I'd say it's a gut feeling.
I feel the gut feeling piece I really resonate with. I think over the years we've ended up with, and I do think in the ultimately it is the right outcome, is coming up with those, we call them talent filters.
Nice,
or an influencer framework, like you just said, where we have those B Corp values and we have our what we call our A's for all framework. So making sure that people in front of the camera, behind the camera, working on the creatives are from different age ranges, gender, sex, race, religion. So we're really representative, and that's a big piece that I think we would always been doing outside of B Corp. So when it comes to inclusivity, we'd always been pushing that ahead as we could, trying to lead from the front. So that really helped when it came to B Corp. Oh, actually, we're already doing that. And we're already looking at being carbon neutral, So it does help. What is your take? There can be some hot takes here if you like.
Okay, hot take.
On influencer marketing within the coffee space.
Yeah, I think that I again, kind of going back to this authentic piece, I feel like you want it to, I think it's brilliant because at the end of the day, coffee is something that is part of most people's daily routine. It's a whole world of content that you
It's
can
a whole
create.
culture.
Yeah, it's a massive culture, and it's only getting bigger. So yes, there are lots of people who can create some really awesome content around it. I think that sometimes I go onto my Instagram and I can see the same person like promoting different brands, and I'm like,
I'm sure your feed is just coffee as
it's
well.
a lot of coffee. Yeah, it's literally like all coffee, and so that always I'm a bit like interesting. And I would never.
So the same influencer doing multiple different brands of coffee.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I wouldn't like it's wanting to basically make sure that you've got someone who like loves your brand, because honestly, like there's so many amazing coffees out there. Like, and it's not that I don't think that someone should be drinking. Like, I am absolutely all for people drinking different types of coffee and stuff. But if you're promoting a brand, then I think it should be like.
Yeah, and also as a consumer, I don't know about you, but for me, I stick with the same coffee brand for quite a long time.
Yeah.
Because I know as a millennial that if I have too much at once, I'll have an anxiety attack. So
Literally.
it's about balancing and getting it through it in a steady pace. So to see someone in a consecutive post jumping between coffee brands isn't very authentic, and it feels a bit like it's watering down the impact.
Yeah, definitely. And actually on your point of like the anxiety and the dishes and stuff, that's exactly like what we've done with this, is to make it like stable caffeine levels, so that people do like know how much they're having. We were talking about before, all the anxiety attacks that you can get from coffee because you don't know how much caffeine you're taking in. So yeah, like that's a whole piece that we've like worked around.
I feel like you just spend a couple of minutes on TikTok or Instagram, and you'll see that people will talk about, I'm skating on ice today. Like there's a balancing act between having my 2 espressos, my pre-workout, and an Americano before I have a
the pre-workout.
Yeah, poison, absolute poison.
Yeah.
But I think my dosing for me, is not. I just go, if I have it intravenously, I probably would.
Yeah.
But until that's invented,
we have
is
to
it
wait.
Invented? I don't know.
Not at the moment.
Is that
I'll
in
let
development?
you know.
Yeah.
I'll let you know, because one of those things, that one of those pillars that we're going to have is innovation.
Intravenous
so
coffee.
Maybe as part of the innovation, it'll be intravenous coffee.
Don't. Honestly, I would abuse that.
Yeah.
If you could have unlimited budget for a marketing stunt with influencers, what would it be?
So I was thinking about this, and actually one of the ones, like we've got a Rogue Promises spreadsheet that we put out.
Rogue Promises.
Yeah. So I don't know if anyone listens to Radio 1, I think I listen, like Greg James is always on when I get in the car. So I listen to it. But anyway, he's got it, and it made us do it. Like when I first joined, we started it, and it's basically full of ideas that if one day we just have his multiple millions, we'll just
here's what we'll do.
Yeah. And there's one of them actually that I was going to use today, but I actually think we might do this. Yeah, so I don't want to say it yet. But I think for me, like a multi like city campaign with loads of pools and like synchronized swimmers, like legs up and
in
like,
coffee.
Why not? Like, and have all the
brown water actually gives the wrong
vibe, but like crystal clear blue waters. Yeah,
coffee in
influencers
hand.
diving in, like people posting like fun little puzzles. I don't know, like just whole wraparound interactive, fun, water-based, bright activity filled with coffee. So
legs akimbo, as per logo. As a challenger brand, then, do you think influence will be increasingly important for you in the next 2-3 years around positioning and also those purposeful campaigns? Because I think obviously purpose you've touched on, and it's so important for TrueStart. So can you have purposeful campaigns with influencers, and how important are influencers going to be in the next couple of years for that credibility piece?
Yeah, I think really important. I think there's no escaping the fact that people want to see real, genuine content that doesn't come from the horse's mouth. Like, doesn't, like we can speak into our echo chamber as much as we want, but you need to people and influencers. And this is why when I do speak to our creators, I give them a brief, but it's not super tight, because I don't want them to be like reading, when you can tell when it's on a script. And so I just think like that kind of actual genuine interaction with our brand is only going to get more important. And like, again, going back to this whole, like, our literal mission is to make people feel happier and healthier and like spread positive energy. We can't do that from our office the whole time. You've got to have people there who are spreading that message for you and like absolutely love you and like really want to tell everyone about you. So I think it is only going to get more important. And going back to what you're saying about like purpose with the influencers, again, like working with people who maybe promote other amazing B Corp brands, like I don't know, Finisterre, and these brands that like really live and breathe their purpose. I think like having people that feel authentic, and you don't want to go too far into the echo chamber that you're just preaching to the choir, but you do obviously want your like, your tribe to find you.
Yeah, I think as well, when it comes to trying to convey values like B Corp or just being good for the planet, good for people, can feel quite worthy from a brand. But when you're working with an influencer that can do it in a really authentic way, it feels like it's less of a mouthful and it feels more of a natural journey for them.
Definitely.
And they're being the mouthpiece, like you said. So actually, they're not drinking the Kool-Aid, caffeinated drinks or beverages, but they're actually able to impart that in a way that feels like they would be speaking to a friend.
Yeah, for sure.
And then it allows you to leverage that.
Yeah, because I think we actually did a poll on our Instagram about being like, what kind of content do you want to see? And honestly, the sustainability part of the poll was so tiny. Like people don't find, it's obviously not very like sexy, fun, TikTok, quick, engaging subject to talk about. So you need to, from a brand, so you need to have someone who, like you said, can like, as if you're sitting down having like a pint or a drink with your friend, and talk about it in that way, like and actually word it in their own words.
So on that poll, you said sustainability was at the bottom of the list of like priorities.
Yeah, that people wanted to see. Yeah.
Right. And what was that top of the list?
Good coffee. It was actually like recipes, which I guess again, obviously, like you're only talking to, and I think it was important when that result came back. We were like, okay, obviously, you can't just take that as like a whole answer because you're only talking to a small number of engaged people who would have been on Instagram that day. But it was just very interesting that actually, I still think in a B Corp community, and like this was like Purpose versus Yesterday, you're talking to a bunch of people that are so driven and want to change and like are really motivated by like trying to fix the climate and everything like that. Obviously, huge job. This is not going to be done in a night. But then actually, I think brands have a really important job to do of making all of that information really accessible for like everyday people because
and digestible.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're not like, you don't want to feel bad for like not being perfect. Like you know, maybe one day you don't put your recycling out. You don't want to feel like you're gonna open your Instagram and like get shunned. It's like making it that whole piece, like digesting. Brands have got to digest all the important stuff and then put out the little tidbits that people can take on, like and actually action.
The small actions that can make a incremental effect.
Yeah, definitely.
Talking about trends and coffee.
Nice.
Bringing it back.
Bringing it back
to that. Obviously, I feel like 4 or 5 years ago, it was the pumpkin spice lattes. Everyone was talking about that. And now we've moved into a world where it's about having the unadulterated, lovely, clean, like coffee drinks. How on it do you need to be with coffee trends? Because it feels like it's a very fast-moving space.
Yeah.
And how many of them are dictated by TikTok?
Interesting.
This wasn't on the list of questions I sent
I
you.
know, but
and you were speaking, I was like, this is quite an interesting angle to take.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. Like, I went, my brother lives in Australia and I went to go see him over Christmas. Lovely.
Whereabouts in Australia?
Melbourne. So like coffee capital, like everyone.
Lots of coffee snobs.
Like actual genuine coffee snobs. They've got a whole, and they've got like a whole coffee which is just like in Melbourne. It's called the Melbourne Magic. And if you go up and order it, it's like a mini flat white. So it's kind of halfway between like a cortado and a flat white.
And it's super concentrated.
It's delicious, whatever. I don't know what it is. But yeah, so going back to what you're saying about how it was like these like syrupy flavored, creamy yumminess.
Yeah, which were essentially desserts.
Like I think that was also the kind of like coming off the back of like the kind of freak shake era of you know, and
like
everyone
unicorn frappes and things like that. It's like, should we just take this back to coffee?
Yeah, 100%. I think going like in Australia, they really care about just coffee, and so for them, like an amazing espresso, an amazing long black, like that's, and then a flat white, like they're important. They don't have. I know some coffee shops might have syrups, but not everyone. So
do you have syrups in your coffee?
I don't. I'm a note flat white. Like,
is that your? I need to ask you your order. I haven't done this.
Yeah, what's your order?
Flat white. I like a black coffee.
There we go. Yeah. So, and I think
sometimes with if I go to I'd like a Costa. I'm not going to go to Starbucks. I'm very basic, but I do like a little vanilla syrup in there sometimes.
Yeah, like a little...
Takes the edge off.
Yeah, to be fair, like if it's a hot day, I like to have a little pistachio like ice situation. That's my kind of naughty
a little
pudding.
Bit of whip on top.
I'm a bit of a dairy. I'm quite scared of dairy, so I'm like.
But it's completely natural to drink milk from another animal. Isn't
yeah,
it?
exactly.
One for another time. We'll unpack that at a later date.
Another day. But no, those trends. I think now we're moving back into like black coffee, health, and I think we've always in terms of like content trends. I think that's like a whole other thing. But I think for a coffee company and a coffee brand, you've got to stay to what. You got to like not stay in your lane as in you've got to keep blinkers on, but I think you got to be consistent with like your messaging and what you push. And we've always been about health. Like ever since 2015, we've lab tested our coffee to make sure it's like full of antioxidants. We were born in sport and that whole world. So for us,
wellness is a really important
super
pillar
key
for you guys.
Definitely. And I think wellness like kind of does then transpire onto our content and stuff. So for us, I remember our like marketing exec, he's on a placement year. He used to work at Costa actually, but he came in, he was like, oh, I can make all these frappes, because obviously like that's what he did all day. Like he when he was working at this cafe. So, and I was like, sure, but for us, our content has to be based around like delicious, healthy, clean coffee. And I do think that that's kind of, and now that everyone is so obsessed, like I don't know, again, maybe it's my algorithm, but like everyone's doing a marathon, everyone's like doing
processed foods, marathons, wellness, 100%. And also achievable goals as well is a real focus now.
Yeah.
We did, loads of our clients at the start of the year wanted to, well, end of last year, said for January, we want to do new year, new me. All of the insights we were unpacking were actually, nobody wants unrealistic goals. No. Everybody wants achievable, healthy, accessible options for them
definitely.
that aren't full of crap.
And
processed
really
foods. I got a book for my birthday, it's quite funny, on, I think it's called Ultra Processed People.
I was about to say it's Ultra Processed People. Yeah, my boyfriend's obsessed. And I'm like... Yeah.
I started to read it, but what was really funny is that my mate gave it to me and it was covered in birthday cake. So I was like, this is actually probably like it's really ironic, but this is where we're at. Like, I think looking for achievable options that actually are really accessible and really healthy for us.
Definitely, and like easy, because I think another thing is like, like me and my founder were talking about it the other day, because we both like, we do love sugar. Like, you know, I'm like, oh, a little sweet treat after lunch. Yeah, and I'm like, I don't, and then I have it and I'm like, oh, I didn't actually like really want that. I probably,
then you crash.
Yeah. And so now, like, I've got a hair in my hat and it's in my face. So we're talking about like all this, like consuming sugar and stuff. And I think for us, like with this coffee, it's really, really easy to make a nice switch that still tastes good, but you don't have to have like loads of sugar. People are like, oh, do you have sugar? And I'm like, oh no, sorry, we don't have sugar, but just try it without, because you probably will like it.
Because a lot of people haven't tried it without sugar.
No, because it's what you're used to from by the time you're like 14 to when you're 80.
Yeah.
Like people just are so stuck in their ways, and fair enough. Like obviously all of us can have a tendency to not try new things, but when it's shoved in front of you that no, we don't have sugar, people try it and they're like, wow, it tastes so good. Like, so yeah.
I think for me, my nan and granddad would always make a flask of coffee, so they're in the 80s when they're around, and they put a Canderel sweetener in it. Yeah. So for me, I was like, wow,
healthy.
Nothing in the world tastes like this, you know, like this is the most artificial thing ever. And I didn't discover until I went to uni coffee without the crap in it.
Yeah.
So I think it's a journey. We all need to go on that journey.
Definitely.
And realise that actually sugar's not the only option. Although I'm into a lot of an evening, we all want a sweet treat, right?
Yeah.
I'm into blending up dates with lots of different things and making my own little... Yeah, there's a lot of fibre in that. So it's a journey.
Yes.
But just trying to get the balance right of sweetness with like not overloading your gut with fibre.
I've been doing some like peanut butter and desiccated coconut balls at the moment. Yum.
What, like
literally
protein?
Get peanut butter, get some oats, get some like desiccated coconut and just smudge it into a ball, put it in the fridge. Banging.
Immense.
Like, so good.
Sorry, this is not about it. I'm going to tell you about this.
Yeah.
Right, we saw it on TikTok. If you get a tray and you squash dates down, put peanut butter over the top and then melted chocolate, put it in the freezer. Oh,
yum.
Immense.
Yeah, I'm going to do that when I get home.
And then another one that you can take from TikTok is mashing up a banana, put some cocoa powder in it, peanut butter, microwave it, comes out of the brownie. Chocolate chips. Is it healthy?
Don't know.
Don't know, but is it full of sugar? No.
Better than like a really chocolatey chocolate bar.
Do you have Reese's?
I do like Reese's.
I love Reese's.
Do you like Reese's? Yeah. It's a naughty habit.
It's it's very bad. India, you brought some coffee with you today.
I have bought some coffee. It'd be really rude if I didn't bring coffee.
Could you talk us through this? They're on display.
Yeah.
What options have we got with us?
Okay, I will start. I should put them that way around.
Yeah, which order? Are these in the right order?
Whack that red at the end for me. I should have done this earlier. I'm sorry. Right, so we're going from like strength wise, like in caffeine content, from lowest to high. So essentially our whole like thing, one of our things is that we are all about giving people a coffee option with it knowing exactly what they're gonna like consume. Like it's all about caffeine control. So which is kind of born out of the whole, you have a coffee and you're either like panicking or you feel nothing. So what we've done with our instant coffees, they've all got different caffeine content. So this is our decaf, obviously no caffeine, and it's all decaffeinated naturally, using an algae. So it's like people have that. I actually made that for someone the other day, as an espresso shot with like frothy milk, and they were like, "Your beans are delicious," and I was like, "Babe, that's instant coffee," and she was like, "What?" I lost her mind. So that's fine. Then this is our new little.
That's what you want at home, because then people are like, "Oh, you've got a lovely coffee machine in the kitchen."
100%.
Like, yeah,
sure.
Teaspoon in hot water.
It's great because also then if you've got everyone around, instead of having to like be like 10 times,
knock it,
whack that in.
Yeah, whack that in.
And decaf's like obviously you do like decaf beans, putting in with normal beans.
And for me, it's often like a placebo effect. Well, I'll have a decaf and not even know, and I'll be like, wow, I got my hit.
Yeah.
And actually, it was just not even caffeinated.
No, and it's my mum's decaf only. And like finding a good one is like a hard job. So then that was the decaf. Then we've got this lightly caffeinated one, which is basically a halfway house between caffeinated and decaf, and we kind of marketed it around like it's your afternoon coffee. It's your putting your kids to bed. This is like a 3 till 5 o'clock in the afternoon situation. You're going to pick them up from school and you're like, oh my god, I need some caffeine to get this task done.
The coffees have just arrived, by the way, so I don't know how this will be cut, but they're here now
in front of us. So yeah, this one that's like afternoon coffee, midpoint. Like I personally can't drink any like espressos or whatever after like 2 or 3 o'clock because I will not sleep. So this is my last couple of jobs of the day coffee. Then the yellow one is our original. So that's like our hero product.
This is the barista grade.
Yes. So that one is where all of these instant coffees, by the way, we're the only instant coffee that we know of. Clause that makes
asterisk.
That uses specialty grade beans to make the coffee, so it's so delicious. Like people are like saying, compare it to like beans or filter.
So specialty grade beans are just more premium option than
So all your favorite kind of independent roasters of London and of Bristol, of the world, wherever you are. Specialty grade is it's like the top, and it's like an association that you have to qualify into. So they are the best. But yeah, that yellow one. Yes. So just quickly on this one, this one's like our original one. It's got 75 milligrams of caffeine, and it's just like yummy. All you need. We actually did it birthing, out of the sporting world and making sure you can have enough caffeine for your race and stuff. So that's like
the barista grade. Sorry.
Yeah, that's the barista grade. So that's like delicious and Colombian and smooth. Super Blend was born at the same time as this one, and that was to basically people who wanted a bit more of a kick and like a more of an Italian style it's
Robusta.
And so Robusta gets a bad rep for being like cheap and gross, but again, this is a specialty grade Robusta, and actually if you like a kind of stronger coffee, it's what you want. So it's naturally higher in caffeine, naturally stronger in taste. So those are the 4. So they're like pick your mood.
Beautiful.
Essentially.
Beautifully designed.
Tins.
I feel like I'm on QVC.
Yes, that was very salesy.
In fact, maybe we should put them here so we can see. So what we have in front of us for listeners is there are 4 cups of instant coffee here that have been poured for India and I, and no, there's 5. There is 4.
No, I did the same thing.
I could not count then.
I was like, they're
there's
multiplying.
Definitely only 4. I was looking at that. I was like, I can't count. Okay, so there's 4 cups of coffee each, and what we're going to do, without getting third-degree burns on our tongues, is sample each of these and try and work out which one it corresponds to, all with the view of to the anxiety point that we're not going to have a breakdown through this. You don't have to drink the whole thing.
No, just a little sip.
I'm hoping that you will know instantly from what we drink.
I hope so too, and I think my boss will hope so too.
Yeah,
I don't know who they are.
We just found you on the street and said, would you wear this cap?
Would you wear this cap? Come on in. Yeah.
So should we go... Let's go from your side first. If I go for this one. And let's give it
a sniff.
Oh.
Okay.
Very nice. Do you say you can smell it in 4K?
No. That would be amazing. I'm like a dog. Yeah, I can smell. Cheers.
Cheers. That's very nice. Ooh. Beats the coffee that I just had. No offense to everyone that got me a coffee a second ago. Very nice. I want to say almost nutty.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. In my head...
Bear in mind, I've never tried these. So
I know. You're completely fine. I'm like, I should definitely know. Okay, I think I've got a guess.
Oh, I think it's decaf.
Oh no, I think it's the yellow one.
Do you know what's gonna happen for me? Is I'm gonna have to have all 4 of these and then come back and work them out.
Yeah, maybe that's a better idea.
This feels like a midpoint for me.
Okay.
Let's go for the next one.
How are we gonna remember? We'll just come back.
Didn't really think this through, did we?
Don't worry.
Oh, a sweety cinnamony smell? Unless that's just the cup.
This cardboard smells amazing.
Oh.
Okay, I think I have an idea. I'm not going to like not say anything until I've tried all of them because I'm not sure. Right.
I feel like this one. The lightly caffeinated option.
I think it's this one.
Okay. So you think it's the decaf option?
I think it's decaf. Yeah, I feel
It
like
smells so good.
I know. This one tastes like cookie dough vibes, which is what our decaf does. So
I feel like if you I don't know, I'm shutting my eyes and when I drink it, it's as if it heightens my senses.
that is actually meant to be true. But it doesn't. If you like shut off all your other senses, then it does that. Okay, right.
Like Daredevil out of Marvel.
Oh.
If you know, you know.
I actually am not a Marvel fan. I'm sorry.
I like that one.
I thought that you were like taking a bath by my Marvel comment.
Yeah. No, I'm over the films. There's too many of them now. This was very aromatic-y. It's almost floral.
Yeah. Yeah. I honestly am now feeling like, wait.
I feel like because this is so... The word I've got in my mouth is pungent, but I don't mean it in a bad way. I feel like this is the Robusta. The super blend.
I'm going to try the last one.
Yeah.
So I'm going to... Right. It goes that way. That way.
And then we can line them up on the...
Yeah. I'm going to straight away do that.
I think this is super blend now. Very strong.
Ooh.
That's super blend.
Oh, God. Why have I put them in the wrong order?
Okay,
right.
I'm going super blend.
I'm going to do... Ow. Sorry, cups. Sorry.
That, yeah?
Yeah. Have we got the little things on the bottom for us to see if we're right? Okay. Should we reveal?
Shall I lift these ones up and we can see?
Yeah.
Oh, G.
No, you got that wrong. You've put yellow on that. That's
Oh,
isn't
yellow.
it?
These ones we've got. I got that wrong.
Bloom. Great.
You
Taste
should
test.
be so impressed with yourself. That 4 a.m. start today has not
It's
affected your taste whatsoever.
Not at all. I'm happy. I know what I'm talking about.
We did it. We're moving on to the lie detector.
I'm intrigued about this.
All the budget went on. Well,
This is huge.
Li, LinkedIn
Yeah.
detector test. So what we did, India, is go through your LinkedIn profile, and we have brought together a list of 14 questions based on what is on your profile. And we all know the industry loves a bit of fluff on LinkedIn.
We do love to fluff. Yes.
We do love to fluff on LinkedIn. So what we're going to do is run through these in hopes that you've fluffed your profile, and will hopefully lead to some fun if I can open it.
Great.
So there's 15 questions. I got 7 when we did this.
Cool.
It was a bad day. So I'm going to read through yours. It is quick fire. We can dwell on them if you want. So, India, start the clock. I feel like I could be Anne Robinson on Weakest Link or something.
I've always wanted to do a quiz.
Pub quiz.
Pub quiz.
What's your LinkedIn headline?
Head of brand at TrueStart Coffee.
Correct. Are you verified?
No.
Correct. What was your first workplace on your profile?
How far back did I go? Red Bull, maybe.
Correct. Name 3 skills listed on your profile.
God.
This is where I failed.
Teamwork, maybe.
No.
Oh, wait, are they soft skills?
Team something.
Team.
Oh, sorry, teamwork is on that list.
Teamwork was one. Okay, great. Teamwork. Leadership.
Team leadership is on there.
Okay.
One more.
And
One of these I don't relate to, so I'll tell you after.
I don't know. I don't want to say anything now in case it's offensive to you. Events. I don't know.
Event planning, yeah.
Is it?
Time management.
I was actually going to say time management, but I didn't want to be rude in case you were like.
I'm borderline ADHD, so we all know that my time management is crap. How many workplaces do you have on your profile?
Either like 4 or 2.
Add them together.
6.
Yes, 6.
Yay.
I'll give you that one. When did you last post on LinkedIn?
Oh, I did that. When did I do that? Probably 2 weeks ago when
Correct.
I went to that talk.
Yep, 2 weeks ago.
Great.
How long have you been in your current role?
4 years this year. So like currently like 3 years and December, January, February. Like 3 years, 4 months.
3.5 years, we'll give you that
Okay,
one.
cool, thanks.
Isn't it like a lot of jeopardy about this?
Yeah.
It's really stressful. Where was your longest Term of employment.
TrueStart.
Correct. Name one LinkedIn group that you're a part of.
Feel like I'm part of Red Bull alumni, but I don't know. Maybe, or like the Mark Ritson Marketing MBA group, something like that.
Maybe we didn't deep dive because they sound like really legitimate groups. The one we've got here is Branding Insights Exchange.
I check that daily.
Yeah.
really.
First thing in the morning, laying in bed.
Yeah.
Branding Insights Exchange.
Really interesting.
That sounds like a fun group.
I have no idea why I'm part of that, but I'm sure it's really interesting. No hate to the Branding Insights Exchange.
Yeah. BIE. What's the name of the coffee shop on your profile?
Of the coffee shop on my profile. Oh, is this from like a previous life?
Potentially.
Coffee shop profile. Where the hell have I worked?
Soul and Surf.
Oh my God. Oh yeah, okay, right. Yeah, that was a cafe that I worked at in India. Yes.
In India?
Yeah. I was like, where have I worked? I was like, yes, that makes sense.
Yeah. What was the name of the ranch you volunteered at?
Oh, El Jarelal.
Jarelal.
I'm going to butcher that Spanish. But
Sorry, where was that?
that was in Mendoza. I was in Argentina. I was basically like traveling and I ran out of money and I needed somewhere to stay and to work. So I did that.
What did you do on a ranch?
I I couldn't speak Spanish, but I was teaching these Spanish kids English. So, but they were kind of teaching me Spanish and they were like literally 5 years old.
So between you?
Yeah, it's between us. We were just kind of like going, sí, yes.
¿Cómo estás?
Yeah. That's what I was doing. And I was like riding, like taking the horses out. It was fun.
That sounds like a Hollywood, like, fantasy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a found
because
yourself
it's
journey.
me, it's quite like budget Hollywood vibes. But yeah, it was fun.
Your words, not mine. What years were you at Bristol Uni?
2015 to 2018.
And what grade did you get? Sorry, that was one question.
I got 2-1.
In what?
History.
Oh, you did history?
I did do
I
history.
did classical civilization.
Oh my God, that was my favourite subject at school.
Was it?
Yeah.
Are we nerds?
Oh, I think so.
Losers.
I was actually reading, I was wanting to read the Iliad the other day and I was like, where is this urge come from?
Do you know what I need? The Battle of Troy.
Need a bit of Helen in my life.
Yeah. Helen, the face that launched 1,000 ships. I've never spoken to anyone on a podcast that's ever... I also, as it goes, don't use my degree in the slightest.
No, neither. Well, actually, I guess my degree is kind of like the analytical side of it, the reading. I love contracts. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Okay, no.
Really enjoy reading them.
Don't like contracts.
Really enjoy reading them.
Yeah, I love a deep dive. They're written like Homer. So.
Yeah, basically, I'm just there like, if this was in old style text, what would this
If we
say?
gave Virgil a contract, how would he write it? Gobbledygook. Who was your mini MBA with?
Mark Ritson.
Correct. Apart from the UK, where else have you worked?
New Zealand and India and Argentina and Mozambique.
Okay. Are you secretly like 55 years old and you've got another life that you're not?
She's lived a lot of lives. Like a cat.
How many A stars did you get at school? We went deep with
This
this
is great. Is this in my A levels?
I feel like none.
Yeah,
Like,
0. Is this my A levels or my GCSEs? Do we have any?
Unfortunately, I cannot give you.
Okay, I think let's go A levels, and I got 1 A star and 2 A's, I think.
And what was the other? Did you say GCSEs before that? What did you get at GCSEs? Let's go with that one.
I got 1 V in maths, and then 6 A's, 3 A stars. I can't remember. How many GCSEs do you do?
3.
Was that it?
3 A stars here.
Yes.
Well done.
That was back in the day when I actually used my brain. Obviously, I used my brain in my job.
Yeah.
But different brain.
In a different capacity.
Yes.
Yeah, just getting through the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations, you got a grand score of 14 out of 15.
14 out of 15.
Would you like to write your name?
Yeah, please.
And then put it right. I'll
Oh
let
my
you
gosh,
write
I
it.
feel like, again, going back to my kind of Radio 1 Greg James vibe, I always do the quiz on there. And I'm like, would I smash it in real life? Probably not.
Congratulations, you got 14 out of 15. You are highest ranking out of 2 people.
I'll take that. I'll go to bed proud. I'm going to tell my parents about this.
Do you want to take a photo of it?
Yeah, actually.
We'll get one
get
after.
them. Yeah, love it.
Thank you so much, India, for joining us for our first episode of the What They Said Influence Marketing Podcast Season 2.
Season 2, baby. Thanks for having me.
Will you come back?
Obviously.
Thank
Whenever
you.
you need
Just
me.
to cheer us on from the sidelines, because that trip from Bristol was very straightforward.
I'll be here for the coffee.
Yeah.
Always.
How much coffee have you had today to get you through from that 4 a.m. wake up?
I actually have only had one because I was like, my general adrenaline and vibes will keep me going.
Enough.
And and I was like, Sammy's going to obviously invigorate me. So here we are.
Hope, prayers, vibes. That's what I go through in life. Fumes.
Running on fumes.
Yeah, running on empty. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the podcast. We were joined by India. People can find you on LinkedIn.
People can find me on LinkedIn.
And you do post.
And I do post every once in a blue moon. But if you are going to do anything, follow TrueStart Coffee, because they post much more content than me on Instagram and LinkedIn.
And where can they see what you're up to for B Corp Month from TrueStart's perspective?
LinkedIn, Instagram. And Instagram. Yeah, TikTok? Probably. TikTok is a whip. A work in progress.
We love a whip.
We love a whip.
Everything's always a whip. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you for listening to this episode. If you want to stay up to date, make sure you subscribe on your favourite platforms. And if you could leave a review and specifically say that this was the most insightful podcast you'd listened to in a long while, that you love caffeine and that Sammy should keep his job, that would be fantastic. And if you want to stay up to date, make sure you subscribe and follow and do all of the things that you should. Next time, we're going to be chatting to Very Group's Layla Hatia about what it is to be a hun. And that will make more sense next time, because right now, I'm just thinking about caffeine. So I will see you next time. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.